Ladies and gentlemen,
Why?
there is a one in the lost column of the Kansas City Chiefs. Suck the world's fattest cock. What happened? I thought you gone 17-0.
No one said no one said that.
Yeah, right. Ladies and gentlemen,
no one said it.
Welcome to the BackYourself Podcast. Here with your Week 11 review for the NFL, or is it Week 12?
No, it's 11.
Week 11. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're getting closer to that Super Bowl where the Lions are going to lift the trophy with a full-time score of 700-0. But until we get there, we're going to go week by week. And today, we did send out a couple winners. I did send out a horrific loser on Bengals. I have to take the fucking dagger out of my back and my front after that one because Herbert, you were getting ready to get absolutely fucking flamed, but you come away with the win. But will you be safe? You'll see. Come the last episode.
That you're going to flame him more than I am. I'll flame him regardless.
We can take turns, mate. We're business partners. We're best mates, and you're never safe when you play like garbage, even in a win. But in saying that, Chris,
we played on Thursday.
A decent morning for the Back Yourself Podcast. How did you feel? I think specifically in Redzone, it was
at 6 a.m. I was doing laps in my house.
There was a lot going on with 8 games on in that early slate, but wow, it was fucking torture.
I lie. At 5:01, as soon as the game, I was doing laps because Steelers got the first turnover. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, maybe there's a good day. But what actually screwed us was, Rams ended up covering, so I can't really say screwed us. But both the teams, both Rams and Browns, not getting field goals right on halftime. It's just fucking degenerate. Like, they were literally 2 meters out.
But I tell you what, Chris, we can't really say that because
Browns are something new.
Browns are brand new.
Yeah, but they would have had the lead.
But
then they quit.
It went our way in the Steelers game.
This is true.
Definitely Ravens could have been up like at halftime and then Steelers would have given up. But
no.
I'll sacrifice Dustin Hopkins for Steelers. That's all right because we were all over that one. And I feel like in a different world, you probably would have gone Steelers upset alert, but I feel like you didn't want to go back to the well too many times, and I can't fault you for that one. Obviously, you went for the mighty Kansas City Chiefs upset alert.
The quitters.
They stitch you up. I'm going to give myself credit for 2 lock of the weeks because I did give out Colts of War, not knowing Anthony Richardson's named, but I also switched it to Seattle because I was so confident that 6.5. Who the fuck are we playing? Shout out to you, Charles Kroon. I know you were all over that one, mate, but yeah.
How?
There's some fucking problems in San Francisco, but
before
we get there, we're going to get to the NFC East where the Washington Commanders back down to Philadelphia, I want to say, and their high-powered offense was extinguished on Thursday Night Football where the Eagles legit ran out the fucking Pistons offense from last year and still won a game because of their defense playing so fucking good. Chris, talk to me about this one, mate.
Well, it was a sharp up line, and that's always at 90+%. Yeah, obviously 3 points.
Is that it? Closed at 4.5, which was interesting.
Look, listen. This is not one particular division that every game's 3.5, and it actually lands on the number, right? First of all, which we'll get to that division.
You're talking about the NFC
South. Anyway, like we said, Washington, it finally came to them. It finally showed that they're not that good. And like I've said for a couple of weeks, and I want to say like I've been pretty much a pioneer because no one's really said it. These cunts are actually good. And Eagles do have a chance now because they're going to win the division and no one's going to go to Philadelphia and win. It does seem like all that garbage that they've had in the preseason, first week, all the stuff, we're not going to go to Brazil, they go to Brazil and win. They play all these decent teams, they win. Like, they get past. No team, if you sit and think about it, no team that's lost a crucial game, Bears, Washington after this week. Maybe Ravens, we'll see. But no team will lose the way that Atlanta beat Philadelphia, and Philadelphia came back and beat the 2-0 Saints after that. No team's done that this year. So you got to give them some credit. Obviously, we know Saquon's playing out of his mind, and the defense is playing really good, but just that the ability that their mindset is in right now is that they have belief. And I don't think anyone saw that at the start of the season. I think going even throughout the season until maybe this week, no one even thought that they're that good. They'll probably get a wild card and get knocked out. But now everyone's like, oh shit, like they're actually decent.
Is that how you feel about them?
And I think they're decent. And to be honest, if my mighty Bears had just fucking won a game, I'll give them a shout. But Eagles can beat Lions on their given day. And I know it seems incredible to say, but I think Lions can fall to Eagles when it really matters most. I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball, and it seems like that's all Detroit are doing at the moment. And Goff last week threw 5 picks. The way the defense is playing, why can't he? And Philadelphia, they have their own weapons on offense. Like, Jalen Hurts is probably not the quarterback that you really want there, but he does his job sometimes. But everyone else, Saquon, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, incredible. So to have that much offensive power, they're a good shout, and probably the only team right now, in my mind, that can beat Detroit.
I'm putting the Philadelphia Eagles on fraud alert. They are frauds, ladies and gentlemen. 8-2, my ass. This is no different to the team that was 9-0, 10-0, whatever garbage they were last year. And defensively, Vic Fangio has put this team in a position to be successful. And, if they ran out last year's defense, they would have got smoked by the Commanders. But I still do not trust this offense at all. Nick Sirianni, he legit has mental problems, and he's not going to be coaching there next year, mark my words. And outside of just handing it off to Saquon 50 times a game or pegging the ball at A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, the one thing the Eagles really struggle with is high leverage downs, and they've had a bit of fourth down luck on these things against shit opposition throughout the year. And Washington, rookie quarterback on the short week going there doesn't impress me that much. They'll get even when they go to Washington, I can guarantee you that. And the Eagles are not a threat to get out of the NFC at all. I'm not scared of these cunts. Not with Hurts and Sirianni. If you were to replace those two pieces, I think this is a scary roster. Because Saquon, where the fuck was this at Giants?
Agreed.
Honestly, this cunt, he's playing some of the best running back I've seen in the last 5 years in this league. That's it. Every time they hand it off to him, throw it off to him, I'm like, well, if he breaks 1 or 2 tackles, he's going to go 80 yards, right? But I've, the eye test wise for me, Chris, some of the shit that Sirianni does, I'm like, he's going to fuck it up for them. And some of the shit Hurts does, I'm like, at any given moment, he can turn the ball over in the worst horrific way possible. So, no, I'm good.
I've got something for you, mate. Obviously, I think it's going to be... I think it's going to be Goff, but we'll see. Is Saquon Barkley in the conversation for MVP?
God, no.
He's absolutely playing out of his mind.
Nah. Fuck that. He's not playing better than Lamar or Allen.
Well, Lamar's 7-4.
That's fine.
These guys are 8-2. Let's say they finish 14-3.
No.
And Ravens finish 11-6. No.
Look, we haven't had a running back win MVP since Adrian Peterson. This cunt's not 1 quarter of AP, so I'm good.
All right. Just entertaining. I know it's going to come up on ESPN soon, but...
Yeah. It will be one of those phantom, that player makes the graphic for a week, like Derek Carr or some shit in week 2, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, all right, fuck this guy.
We'll see.
I would still give it to Jaden Daniels over him, personally.
Wow. Okay.
I think, because he's a rookie, he's a bit slept on, but he's done a lot for
Well, I think it's Lamar, Goff, Mahomes, Allen. That would be, the main 4.
Mahomes is still in it.
Yeah.
Purely record-wise, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Commanders, defensively, you guys actually look really good, but...
I know, that's going to fall.
But look, there's one unit that the NFL is scared of on your team, and they play shit.
Yeah,
they did not play good enough to fucking... All those punts that Philadelphia did, punted 50 times in a row, you guys did nothing with it outside of getting 1 touchdown. So you guys need to wake up. Moving on to this morning's slate.
There was no London or Germany, which was gay.
Which was great. Fuck off. No one wants to see a game in fucking Hamburg.
Aww.
All right. This is the weekly segment where I apologize to Chris. Bears of fucking war came to play. Well done, mate. I quote myself that I said the best teaser in the NFL history is Green Bay money line into fucking...
It won.
Texans money line. You would have thought that the Green Bay players had Kansas City jerseys on to end that game. But this wasn't a Kansas City magnet win. This was a... Bears are a cursed fucking franchise. And no matter what... This was some shit that the old Chargers would have done. That they could fucking dominate the whole game... And then they just fuck it up to a block punt on the last second. But
correct.
Bears, you could have had one of 2 ways of playing this game. You can quit on the year or fucking fire up and show the league that Cardinals was an aberration, Patriots was an aberration, and for all my homies out there that laid it with Green Bay, I would have been in the trenches with you guys, but I have too much respect for this guy when it comes to the Chicago Bears. I didn't take him. Thank fuck. Bears were the right side. They should have won. Jordan
suck.
Was getting fucking pumped by these boys. Where was this against Patriots last week? Now you guys can quit on the season, unfortunately, with losing in that fashion. But yeah.
If I had we need another thing, like a stick or something I can break, because Bears are finished.
Yeah.
My vendetta. Look, I want to say, and I didn't actually make this point. I made the point in the reel, but I didn't actually make this point with the podcast, was that Bears run, the win percentage of the teams they're playing is at 70%.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
70% with the teams they have left, which is Detroit twice,
yeah,
Vikings, Green Bay again,
Vikings twice,
yeah. And they play San Fran in there as well, which San Fran, obviously, they're 50%, but they're probably San Fran is the weakest ones out of all of them, for God's sake.
Yeah, look, Bears probably have like one win in the max.
They're done.
Yeah.
They should have won. If they had won, and I still think there's question marks over Green Bay. These cunts are not that good.
Against Jordan.
They're not that good. And, like, a block punt away just shows, like, Bears or anyone on a divisional basis can beat Green Bay. And, again, in a divisional game, they didn't play great once again. They didn't play great against Vikings. They were awful against Detroit. Flip that around. They were awful against Vikings. They came back and thought they had a chance against Detroit, but they were never in the game after that pick. And they haven't played great. They didn't play great at Bears. Bears deserve to win this game. So, look, they still have 3 divisional games left. Fortunately, they're 7-3 now. So, really, what can you say? They're gonna be there. But I don't think they're a threat to anyone, to be honest. I think whoever they play, they'll probably lose. If they go to Falcons, they'll lose.
Yeah.
Like,
to be honest, like, my mind was on fucking. I had bigger fish to fry in this morning's state. What do you think is lacking in this Green Bay team that they keep playing like garbage, and even their wins like haven't really looked that convincing?
The quarterback.
You don't trust him, do you?
He's not good.
Yeah.
And
he just makes like awful.
I would take him over Herbert, but that's about it.
He's an awful decision maker. To be honest,
awful decision maker.
He's talented, but like, he's young.
Give him a few years.
But acknowledging he's young, the people like in the preseason saying, "Oh, I'm picking Green Bay to get out of the NFC," just like slow down a little bit. He's not there yet.
They'll lose to someone stupid,
yeah.
I reckon.
I think they'll get raped by Vikings again, but that's just me personally. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of Vikings, again, well done, Chris. Giving out -5.5 on this one. Titans. What line will you guys cover? What do we need to give you for you pricks to cover?
It's cooking.
William Levis, again, missed a 99-yard touchdown outside of... Apparently, they should start the Tennessee drives on their own 1-yard line.
Then they'll score.
Apparently, they're more productive out of there. Vikings just got in there, got the job done, got out. I don't think, like... This is probably the least exciting game of Redzone, along with Brock Bowers of War coming to town.
Oh, no, there was 3. There was one more.
3 garbage ones, you reckon?
Detroit.
I feel like we could spend... No, I want to talk about Jags. I want to send them a formalized... I actually used ChatGPT to write a message with
them.
Wow,
okay. It's prepared.
What I was requesting from them, they're like, we can't help you with this.
Wow.
There's too much profanity.
Okay.
So I'll get the Jags.
Maybe you need another AI thing.
I will say, look, it was unfortunate, Brock Bowers. You did all you could to put this team on your back, but you guys are just too shit. Whoever took 7.5, like...
I was tempted.
Fair enough. I was... Even at the points of the game that Raiders were covering, you know, when it was a 4-point game, 3-point game, I was like, you know what, they're covering and they have possession of the ball. Thank fuck I'm not on this game. I didn't want to be on Miami minus. I didn't want to be on Raiders plus. As far as I'm concerned, this game didn't even play. Miami, you're 1 game closer to somehow, like, 2 weeks from now, your cunt's going to be like, oh, are Miami like a wild card threat? No, they're fucking garbage. And Raiders have given up on the season, which I said 3 weeks ago.
Well, they might lose to Patriots next week. Get their revenge.
You are the Drake May whisperer, so we'll have to get to that in the preview. But I believe well and truly, Patriots, you guys can fucking quit on the season as well. But we'll get to them, obviously. Any finalized comments on these fucking degenerates?
Raiders, I think you fucked it up on the 2-point conversion. Like, if you'd got that and got it to 3,
you would have at least had some hope.
You would have hope. I think because you didn't do that and then conceded, and it's game over. I don't think they played that bad. They're just these kinds of offense. And, you know, Tyreek Hill finally had a good game. Got a lot of receptions. Tua threw him the ball. But, yeah, Bowers reminds me of Zach Hoskins in the NRL. The best fantasy player of all time.
Bowers actually fucking gone.
He's great, but
I wish he was in like some competent, not like dysfunctional shithole. Like
no, Raiders win's coming. against Chiefs?
God, I've seen it all.
On Black Friday.
If this was the start of the Chiefs' demise and Raiders put a nail in the coffin, I've seen it all. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like I probably saw 3 snaps of this game. I don't give a shit.
Why do you think Raiders will beat them? It's actually your common words.
Because the Chiefs will never lose to Broncos or fucking Chargers, especially. They'll always lose to these pricks.
Yeah, because Crosby has a bounty on both.
Yeah. And they'll get through the power of Bowers. Did you see his Donald Trump celebration?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That was the talking point of the league. Who gives a fuck? Anyway,
all right,
moving on to... I would say another candidate. I don't really give a shit, but I know you were on him, Chris. Rams of War did enough to cover the spread, get the job done, go home with the win in their win column after fucking it up to Dolphins the previous week. So you got to say fair play. They had a lot of, as you mentioned in the reel, Chris, a lot of variables and factors going against them. Bad travel sport, short week, early time zone, West Coast, East Coast, North, South, who gives a fuck? It's Patriots. They had to stop covering, and they stopped covering. They came out, went boom, 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 scored a touchdown. I was like, here comes fucking Patriots of 07, and then Puka and Cooper Kupp and the rush of the Rams was enough to get the spread home on the -4.5, which I want to say was the right side.
Sometimes you just got to back the better team, and they were the better team. There was a lot of push, lots of push. To get Rams at 3, the way I got them, that's insane.
That's really short, bro.
That's fucking nuts. But anyway, there was a push for a reason. I explained it in the reel, why everyone was taking them. But look, cooked up in the lab, and it was pretty easy, to be honest. What I've typically found, and I guess this is kind of for all punters, especially on NFL, is that a team lets you down, conveniently they cover the next week. And I think as punters, we don't like to say that the team can bounce back. We like to play the hot hand. The hot hand just hasn't worked this year at all. A lot of the teams don't cover for 2 weeks, don't cover for a week, cover for no reason. And Rams have been the focal point of all this garbage. I mean, they beat Niners head-to-head. They beat Vikings head-to-head, but then they'll get raped by Arizona.
And
they'll
Dolphins.
get raped by Dolphins, and then they go to Patriots and win by 6 and cover. Like, stupidity. And Bears the same. Bears cover 4 weeks straight, don't cover to Patriots, don't cover to Arizona, and then go home and cover to Green Bay. Like, I think this week really alerted to me that on a week-to-week basis, these teams just fucking wake up for whatever reasons from their slumber, and Rams did that this week. For what reasoning? I'm not even happy I won on Rams. Where was this last week?
Yeah, I know.
Like, if you guys are going to quit on the year, then quit. Similar to another team, which it starts with J. But quit. Like, if you're not going to win the division, you're not going to make the fucking wild card, then quit on the year. And they don't quit. Why did they lose to this fucking rubbish Miami team last week?
Well, they just didn't execute well. I don't think it was a lack of effort. It happens sometimes. I think what was important to see out of Rams that they don't go and fuck it up back-to-back weeks. You know, like you got to. Yeah. This New England team's like they've been winning games and being in close games enough that they think they're good and they're frisky and they don't go down without a fight. And if Rams were asleep at the wheel, they would have lost to them today. Correct. So at least Stafford came out of halftime, threw a 70-yard bomb to Kupp, and then Patriots are like, all right, now we can fucking give up. So I'll give Rams that like, all right, if you guys are going to be hot and cold, at least like you guys got away with one in Seattle. Today, maybe if you got away with covering, you deserve to win for sure. You fucked it to Miami. Now you go and play Philly. Like, we'll learn a lot more about you bums next week.
Exactly. And what, you're going to lay 3 with Philly?
Well,
you can't do that.
How many times can you lay with Philly? Like, what have they covered? No, they didn't cover to these pricks, which I'm about to get to. The Jacksonville Jaguars with Mac Jones. Thank God someone put these pricks in their fucking place.
Yeah, they got
all that covering you pricks did. Down 22-0 to Eagles with Trevor, and then he came back just to fucking throw it to one of the Eagles secondary pieces and cover and lose. You had 5 takeaways against Vikings, and fucking Mac Jones was in the end zone gritting like he won the comp when he scored that touchdown just to cover and lose for no reason. Sucked the fattest cock in the world. That I'd really refreshed me that these pricks even had the audacity to go and kick the first field goal of this game to go up 3-0, and then you blink and Lions had 50 on the board. Take that to fucking Jacksonville with you, and I hope news comes out tomorrow. Dougie P is fired. Get this cunt out of here. And I hope you have to run out Mac Jones for 6 more weeks and you lose every game 500-0 until the season ends. Fuck off.
Well, fair enough. You know what? I should have actually been on Detroit and believed in them like you did. because they didn't cover last week, so they got really angry. Al Qaeda after.
Half a point to Detroit. All their fucking family and relatives are tied up in an Al Qaeda basement until they cover again. Then they're like, all right, you guys can go home. It seems that way because there was a recent stat of like Detroit's ability to cover after not covering a game. It's legit 100% in the last 3 years.
Incredible.
I don't think there hasn't been back-to-back weeks where they haven't covered in like 3 years. It's actually sickening.
It's sick in the mind.
And like I get where. Actually, no, I don't.
No. I don't get anyone that took Jacksonville.
No, if
it's nothing sharp about it.
I swear, Chris, if Jags were plus 21.5, I wouldn't have taken them today. I knew these cunts were going to get fed.
Fucking hell. Biggest line ever.
You cannot run up Mac Jones and keep covering.
Well, they didn't. Speak of a team that did cover. Your mighty Colts. Mighty Jets.
Mate, don't sell them short. They didn't cover. They went and won outright.
Well, it didn't feel like they won, to be honest.
Oh, it was a fucking torture. So, look, I want to
transport the same message to Jets.
I want to get.
You can't scream at Jets though. I've already written them off.
I want to have like a bit more rapport with our audience, right? So Colts in 6 games of this year, I've come out and either bet against them like on Tuesday early in the week, or bet on them Tuesday early in the week, and every single time I've done it, these pricks have switched quarterbacks. And if
they're not going to switch anymore,
and if it was going from Anthony Richardson to Flacco, Colts got shorter by about a point or two, and if it was going to Richardson, they would get a point or two more. And I've been on the wrong side of it every fucking time. So actually, when I came out and said block of the week is Colts, I thought I was getting 3.5 with Flacco. Come game day, it's 4.5 with Anthony Richardson. I was like, do I trust this inbred against his Jets team? Like, if there is a team that he would actually fuck it up and go and fumble it like 4 times, it's probably going to be to this Jets team, right? Like,
he was still running it. It was incredible.
I was actually so wrong on this game that I ended up being right. Because my analysis was, Jets have quit on the air. They're not going to be bothered tackling Jonathan Taylor. As far as I'm concerned, this prick didn't even play.
Yeah, he was so bad.
So this con was god-awful. And
literally lost
Anthony Richardson legit ran out and orchestrated, like, I thought Tom Brady was playing the way this guy was throwing the ball downfield. And that actually, in totality, sums up how fucking pathetic this Jets team is, that you have all these... They've actually turned into Buffalo. Yeah. All pro safeties and cornerbacks and quit to who? Who are the Colts receivers? They weren't even throwing a pick. Alec Pierce and fucking Mo Ali Cox and Downs. That's who you pricks gave up to. And again, Rodgers like puts it in the end zone, gets the lead. You can't like... All you have to do is not concede a touchdown and you win. And you did it again. It was this Patriots game all over again. It was fucking every game that you... Denver game.
Listen.
Same garbage.
I'm telling you, Rodgers gets too much slack. He scored 27 points.
No.
Listen, I know the
Colts for 5 minutes gave up.
Yeah, but at least he put it in the end zone.
No. Anthony Richardson essentially put it in the end zone once. That's fine. And then right before half they scored, when Colts just fell asleep. Jets... Okay. This is why Rodgers gets slack. These pricks...
I know they had 9 yards.
First of all, they had 9 yards. Second of all, this was their sequencing coming out of the gates. Right? 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Not to Steelers.
But I'll tell you what...
To fucking Colts.
I'll tell you why the defense is the problem, right? After all of that, they're down 13-0. Right? This guy goes touchdown.
Yeah. To go 21.
Touchdown. And then they quit.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what was if you're gonna complain that Rodgers is the problem? Well, after he goes punt, go concede 27. That's it. It's over.
Well,
they try keep it at 13, and then they're so tired and they fuck it up at the end.
This is exactly what I said in the preview, that the Jets team are like, when the offense plays good, and this happens within the game. This isn't a week-to-week thing. The offense plays good for 1 quarter. That same quarter, defense is awful. And then the next quarter, the defense will force a 3 and out, and the offense will do a 3 and out, give it right back to the other team. They can't actually play like all 3 phases of them like human beings within the same quarter. So,
fuck Jets.
If you can't be that garbage, like, I can't believe these pricks were laying 4.5 to anyone. Fuck you.
Fuck Jets.
I don't think Jets even turned the ball over.
No, they didn't.
So they legit just gave up to Anthony Richardson and made him look like Tom Brady.
I know. He didn't throw the ball to the other team.
How shameful.
I'm telling you. Awful.
Fuck these cunts.
All right. On to a game that... look. Saints don't deserve another win, but they got one. Browns, listen, you can't suck. The way it is. Your defense, it seems like, all right, look, this is going to come out of my playbook as everyone's going to yell at me. As soon as you get a Pro Bowl defender, get rid of him. Because they turn him breaded. It's like, why can't they defend Taysom Hill?
No,
of all cunts.
Nobody can.
Of all fucking... Lamar, don't worry. They'll defend him, but they won't defend Taysom Hill.
The hilarious thing was Taysom Hill actually had a fumble lost and an interception and 5 rushing touchdowns. So, like Browns... I never in my wildest imagination thought Jameis can throw for 400 yards with 0 interceptions. Normally he does that with 9 picks. He didn't throw any picks, and UConn's lost by like 24.
Yeah.
God awful.
Terrible defense.
And you know what? Like, Saints have actually... This happens in streaks, and like one team will take the title from the other team. So Jags' miracle run of covering...
It's now going to go to Saints.
Now it's been taken to Saints. Think of... In the last 2 games, the opposition have missed 5 field goals against Saints. Where the fuck was this when Dennis Allen was there, the poor guy?
Oh, mate, it's what happens. Look, strange things happen when you change coaches.
Strange things happen when Saints play. So I can't... I should have known better. Like, in hindsight, I'm not saying I should have taken Saints. They're god-awful.
Who do they play next?
Doesn't matter. They're going to 3-peat. No,
Never bye.
You stitched us up. You
said
these cunts are going to go into their bye. They're going to win the comp last week, which was the rationale of fading Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then they're going to give up straight after it.
Yeah.
But they didn't give up. They played for the Riz
They did give up. This cunt threw 400 yards. Cleveland just gave up more. They must have went clubbing after their bye. The whole defense. They actually, if you actually sit there and go, oh yeah, who gave up?
Can you blame them?
Who gave up? Cleveland gave up.
Can you blame them? Against Chargers, they sacked Herbert 9 times, and this cunt went through 9 picks.
Yeah, I know.
So now he's like, all goods, boys. I won't throw any picks. They're like, no, we don't want to sack Carb once. So just an example of 2 more embedded teams. But congratulations to whoever took Saints, because in the end they were the right side. Because Browns
inbred.
They are just fucking awful in 2024, and you're gonna accept it for what it is at this stage. Nick Chubb's like coming back from injury. Whoever's been playing quarterback the whole season,
they should sit a lot of players down.
God awful.
Why is Garrett still out?
Miles Garrett, like, just send him for surgery tomorrow.
Yeah,
there's no
wait
reason
for next year.
There's no reason for this guy to play one more down in this season. Same with Denzel Ward. Same with all these boys. Like, you guys are a disaster.
It's over. They want to beat Steelers.
Speaking of
Steelers,
we move to
the game of the
week, and look, you just knew it was going to fall down to like 1 or 2 points in the end, and it was a weird way of getting there. A lot of weird missed field goals in the early red zone slate, like in general. Dustin Hopkins, wake up. Evan McPherson, wake up. But thankfully for us, Justin Tucker was asleep. And I don't know like what happened to this guy that he can't kick anymore, but those were like some shit he could fucking make blindfolded back in the day. 2 missed field goals proved very costly with a losing margin by only 2. There was no missed field goals on the Pittsburgh side of things. 6 out of 6 from Boswell of War. And Steelers win a game with no touchdowns because they just situationally turn you over in like the most horseshit ways. Before I could even sit down with my coffee in my hand, these cunts had already fucking
got a fumble
off thing. Didn't even put it in the end zone. But what does it matter in the end? But, like, I thought Russ was fucking god awful.
Listen,
personally, but didn't
he
matter.
played really bad, but they're 8-2. So what can you say? And the 2 games they've lost to Anthony Richardson.
Fuck you, Steelers.
And to Dallas. So really, they should be 10-0.
Yeah, they could be.
And they easily could be.
Well, they're not gods.
Look, I'm going to be the person that can believe there can be someone else that has a chance, i.e. Eagles and i.e. Steelers. And these guys are fucked up. I mean, situational defense is actually insane. It's happened so many times, I don't know if you can say it's a fluke and the dumbest thing anymore. It just happens. And to do all this
But they're so fluky, Chris.
I know. But look, you add this defense and you add Highsmith to this. I mean, fuck me. And
he played today, I'm pretty sure.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, Highsmith.
Wallahi, he didn't play.
I'm telling you, Highsmith played.
Regardless. Well, that's why they only fucking scored 16 points.
Yeah, literally.
But you can't score on them, 1. 2... Because these idiots lost to them, and Steelers probably will lose over there, like most likely, as long as they beat Browns next week, which we'll get to that in the preview. These guys are going to win the division. And I like I said before, if Steelers win the division, I don't know one team that's going to go Pittsburgh and even fucking breathe.
Chargers.
fucking breathe. They're going to get killed.
Okay, realistically, who could possibly go there as a wild card? Chargers. Bo Nix.
Fucking hell.
And fucking...
Miami, maybe. Colts.
Fuck that. You can't take Anthony Richardson to TJ Watt's house? No way.
So
essentially, like, at this... Oh, fuck. They could play Ravens.
They could, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, they could. Depends how many games Buffalo keeps winning. The shit cunts.
Yeah. Because as good as Steelers' record is, like, they drop 1 or 2 games and...
No. Ravens will probably... Oh, yeah. No. Because Texans have a worse record. So they'll go to Texans.
Who will?
Ravens. So these cunts are going to get one of the 2
get Bo Nix.
Yeah. So they get through. And then they're going to play someone like Josh Allen, who... Tomlin against Josh Allen, when this kind of literally... look, they won today, but literally 0 receivers. Yeah. Scary.
But
so
I actually really want to be on board with you on this take, Chris, but...
Russ is something new.
At the same way you're thinking, like, oh, TJ Watt and this defense against Bo Nix, I actually, like, half view that way of... Imagine if Russell Wilson has to go to Kansas City. I don't trust him.
They're changing it up, you know. They put Fields in. They start doing crazy shit.
I know. It was funny when Fields slid early and thought he won the comp. That was.
But they got it at the next play.
But they had already won. So.
But look, the way they're playing is defensively incredible, and like they're 8-2. What can you say? They're 1 win from Kansas City, and they're literally the same record as Buffalo right now. So. No one's going to shout out, and no one can even fucking write them off to win the fucking conference right now if they keep winning. So I don't think they will. They'll probably win the division because they won the key game today. Ravens on the other front, I can understand they got unlucky. Tucker missed some field goals, but the way Steelers actually stopped Lamar and Henry was a little bit scary for Baltimore. That shouldn't be possible with 99% of teams, and I feel like someone like Chiefs and even Bengals to an extent and Steelers really have your number when it comes to Browns, even really have your number when it comes to you fucking running the ball. And you're going to be playing 2 of these 3 teams probably in the playoffs. Fortunately, you probably play Texans who are fucking retarded. And we'll get to them tomorrow. But
Absolutely.
No. But... I think they were essentially taken out of the game, and once they're taken out of the game, they only scored 16 points. So outside of Henry's 1 run, I don't think Lamar even fucking just dared to get out of the pocket. I feel like if he gets out, he's gonna die.
He knows he's gonna die, so he doesn't bother.
Yeah, and like Lamar just throwing the ball, I think Steelers are happy to concede that. So are Chiefs. So look, that's fine.
Chris, I'm gonna come at this game from a completely different angle.
You'll die for Ravens.
I'll die for these cunts.
Yeah, look,
they played.
Just say that. That's what you didn't say.
In the entire season, these cunts will never play this garbage again. And after all of those shithouse turnovers, including the first drive, the one right before halftime, the one where he literally the Ravens player had it, and the Steelers guy was like, "No, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler, and I will fucking get turnovers out of my dick." Out of one of the best kickers in the history of the NFL. Missing 2 field goals for no fucking reason. After all that in Pittsburgh, these guys lost by 2.
Listen, they could have beat them by a lot more. They didn't score.
Who?
Pittsburgh. They didn't put the ball in the end zone.
That's where I'm like...
Yeah, I know. That's where you're...
Very concerned with these cunts.
Like, overall...
Who legit, Carolina could play Ravens and get a touchdown against them.
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck's Russ doing?
Listen... Don't worry about Russ.
Ravens showed me that, like, all right, when palms get sweaty, these boys can actually defend. That's all I really...
Don't worry about Russ.
That's all I really need to see from him today. Lamar's Lamar. He's going to be fine. I'm not worried
You're worried too much about Russ. Also, the
he hasn't been cooking.
The coaching of this fucking team. Can you guys fucking wake up on your penalties, Baltimore? Stop giving penalties.
Oh, yeah, throw in 500 penalties.
They're the most penalized team in the fucking comp. More than Chiefs. I'm surprised.
Yeah. Well, they have the wrong Harbaugh coaching, it seems.
Fucking hell.
Wake up.
Fucking wake up. Stop giving penalties away. Anyway,
I think
that wasn't the Steelers football, and Steelers that you can't give them penalties and fucking no missed field goals.
Ravens, like, philosophically, as on top of the penalties, the shit turnovers, the missed field goals, they actually went into this game like with the wrong mindset. You're not gonna fucking out Pittsburgh. You're not gonna like physically overpower them in Heinz Field. Lamar shouldn't have backed down to these cunts. He should have ran it more. They shouldn't have given it to Derrick Henry as much. It's all right. We'll see you pretty boys in Baltimore 4 or 5 weeks from now. We'll see how Russ plays there. If he gets a touchdown, the pussy. Go Ravens.
Doesn't need to. They'll just get field goals.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be like, what? 4.5?
It wouldn't be a 7-point swing. Probably be like... Well, wait, no, fuck. They were plus 3.5.
Yeah.
6.5?
Jesus, all right.
I'd lay it.
Not in that division. But we go to the late slate, which one game I don't even... I truly don't know what happened.
Seattle Seahawks, a fucking war came to play.
I wasn't going to do that. What the fuck were Atlanta doing? What are they doing? The last 2 games.
I respect Atlanta.
They're asleep.
I respect them.
Because they've quit. They're like, well, what division? Fuck it.
Because all that, like, analysis we did on Buffalo, which actually is, like, really heightened after today's fucking result. Yeah. Fuck off. That you've literally already won your division. There's no reason to keep firing up every week. Falcons selectively tried against Tampa those 2 games. Beat Saints that first time. Obviously going to kill Carolina because they're god-awful. And now they know, like, oh, we don't need to go to Denver and try. All good. So Falcons went out there. Opening drive.
This is good.
Gave up in 5 minutes. And they were like, yeah, you know what? We don't need this one. All good. Bo Nix, you can have your little party and you can get to 4.5 next week against Raiders and then go give up next week. That's fine. Bo Nix is actually getting pretty annoying. Like, why does he play so good every week?
He's playing gun.
I know.
Atlanta, look, I feel like this is good for the punters because I know you guys are going to be like heavy underdogs at home in your first playoff game when you guys are there, and I'm going to take you guys, whoever you play.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we've seen the Atlanta that we saw the first couple of weeks, and especially the games against Tampa. Can play a lot better.
Can I tell you what worries me about these guys?
Can they actually do it?
I think Falcons are the type of cunts that will be like, all right, they were fired up for about 8 weeks. Their light switch was on, big time. Now, what they think they've done, they feel like, all right, we've brought it to snooze.
And then they can't unsnooze.
And they'll be like, oh, we can just flick it back on. No, they're asleep. It's going to take these cunts weeks and weeks to wake up, in my opinion.
But they have a bye.
Oh, they have a bye.
They're going to wake up after their bye.
This young offense of, fucking Bijan Robinson and Carl Pitts, they're just going to sit in their rooms at home and watch tape for the next week in the city of Atlanta.
I promise you, if they've quit the last 2 weeks to quit again after their bye, I feel like the Atlanta one is a free tip in 2 weeks in advance. Whoever they play, I don't care. I'm taking them.
Look,
they got to wake up.
I'm sure they're going to fire up after their bye. I'm not talking week to week with these cunts. I'm talking long term. They've already
computed.
Their head's not in the game.
They've already won the call.
And I don't trust them to put that light flicks.
I trust them. I like Falcons.
I love Kirk. I think he's just surrounded by idiots.
Well, it depends
including
who they play.
Raheem Morris. He doesn't know shit.
Well, it depends who they play as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What if they play like Vikings or Green Bay?
Yeah, like they're going to get raped anyway. Oh, Kirk will beat Vikings. Yeah. He'll make sure that's his mission.
And he will also kill Jordan.
All right. Well, this is the annual second fucking lock of the week.
Thank you, champion.
Didn't see this one coming, but fortunately it wasn't on the other side of it. Seahawks won. And to be honest, I did not watch one snap of this because the other game was fucking way too important. Good job. All I want to say is if you give fucking Kyler another win, I swear to God.
They won't, mate.
Fuck off. We get it. You pricks. Go to San Fran, win in the last second. If you go home and lose to Kyler, I'm fucking off at the Seahawks. Yeah. And I was on it. Because I know they're going to go home and fuck it up.
Nah.
They're going to win at home as well. They've got a good defense.
Sneak peek. I'm going to break one of the podcast rules probably next week.
No.
Because this week's one, it came out of nowhere on me. As soon as Arizona four-peated, I knew what I was going to do 2 weeks from now.
Fuck's sake.
Because they're the type of pricks to go on their bye and give up.
Why?
But as far as today's game goes...
Kittle didn't play, so fair enough.
No, it's not fair enough. Why the fuck did this not go to 3.5?
I agree. Why was it 6 without Kittle?
This is a prime example of no one's paying attention, nobody gives a fuck, and everyone just takes 49ers blindly because when last seen... So you mean to tell me when last seen Seahawks with a bunch of injuries, not accounting for the fact that they got healthy off their bye, went toe-to-toe with that Rams team that everybody sits on every other day. And outside of Gino being a fucking imbecile, should have won that game 10 times over. And now you've seen San Francisco -6.5 to Cardinals lose outright, -6.5 to Seahawks lose outright. What else? They got raped by Chiefs by like over 20 points. Who Chiefs legit haven't blown out anyone the whole season. And now you're going to put these pricks without Jorge Kittle, -6.5 again, knowing that Metcalf's back and knowing that Seahawks are 0-4 without Metcalf and 6-2 or 6-3 or some garbage with him. I couldn't believe that the spread didn't shift. Like, this was the easiest win of the week by far, in my opinion, unless you took Lions because, again, copy-paste what I said about Jags 10 minutes ago. But Niners, like, I don't even want to say there's trouble in paradise because there really isn't.
There was no paradise.
These cunts are just, like, mailed it in.
They don't
give a
care.
fuck. Yeah.
I mean,
you can only go and, like, to so many NFC Championship and Super Bowl appearances in a row and get raped by Chiefs so many times in a row that, like,
your give Lions a go, yeah, because that's really going to happen. Really turn out well.
That's like, I actually think we're teetering on San Fran might not even make the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. But Lions are going to go and Gibbs is going to get fucking dismantled.
By who?
By Chris Jones. He'll be on the floor. Gibbs will be dead.
He was on the floor today, wasn't he?
No, in the end zone.
In his own end zone, yeah, crying.
Yeah. Well, we might as well get to the Buffalo Chiefs. The Chiefs finally fall. They go to 9-1, and the Buffalo Bills don't fuck off because you know what's annoying me? I know what's going to happen. This is like mail it in already. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to fucking probably be favorites again, and they're going to fuck it up in the playoffs. Same old garbage. Now, look, they played well today, and finally, Allen said to himself, look, I'm not going to give the ball back to Mahomes.
Fuck this.
Finally. But, again, probably should have taken the field goal. Because,
no, fuck that. You did the right thing.
Listen. There was not enough time for this cunt to go score.
Don't back down to this cunt.
Anyway, still would have taken the field goal because you actually, if you don't take the field goal, you're actually playing into their hands even more because you did get lucky and you got away with it. But if you actually didn't complete those 2 yards, again, Chiefs win a situational moment. That's it. And this cunt would have got a field goal. So I don't think it was the right call. You got away with it. Fair enough. And they actually did play well most of the game. Walking down the field, Chiefs didn't look like they gave a fuck, which was the first. Maybe because they already know they've booked it in 3 months' time. They're going to end up at this stadium again and beat the shit out of your team. But regardless.
Will they be at that stadium?
No, well, in Arrowhead. Well, he's going to go to Arrowhead and win. Anyway, they deserved the win. I don't think Chiefs were the right side at all. And even though the whole week all you heard is how much Chiefs, the line never moved from 2.5, yet went to 3 pre-game, which just showed that this was a liquidation for all the casuals and some sharps that ended up taking Chiefs and us, obviously, and all the people all the one that took Buffalo covered the 3. So it was definitely in the back of my mind either Steelers or Chiefs were going to fuck it up, and Chiefs were there to fuck it up. So I guess I don't feel as scarred because I knew like before one of them's going to mess it up. They can't both.
This one made me sick to my stomach because you guys know like I despise this Chiefs team and
you took them. That was your first mistake.
Opening this at Pick'em and within 5 minutes seeing this go to 2.5 and not really come back down. I saw it 2 flat throughout the week, but was very like consistently 2.5. Yet all I heard was, the sharps. Mahomes is 18-4 straight up as an underdog. We have to take him. The public obviously, Kansas City are 9-0. They're $2.20. Fuck, I've got to put them in my multi. And I was like, why are Buffalo still 2.5? Like, why the fuck has this not come down to 1?
It's a myth. We should actually do a reel on this.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's a myth.
So obviously the bookies knew something, and actually even pushed this out to -3 come kickoff on some spots. And in unison with that, I'm sure like there were some big dogs putting a lot of money on Buffalo, and fair play to those people because -2.5 was the right side. Chiefs played not so great. They haven't been playing great for about 5 weeks now, but they keep playing inbreds and winning in like fluky ways. They went to overtime with Baker with no players. Obviously, they won the coin toss. The rest was history. They blocked Denver last week. They even let Raiders cover, those cunts might not cover for the rest of the season until Christmas Day. And I feel like they also, so this was their 4th straight non-cover, but obviously their first outright loss. I believe Allen is now your MVP frontrunner because he has the stats and the eye test to back up his record, unlike Mahomes, who just has the record. Yeah. Mahomes, flashes of brilliance in this game because he's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best in the league, no doubt about it. But also, like, flashes of sloppiness that's been there against the shit cunts that have not been able to like actually do anything with the possessions. Throwing a pick on third down on the first drive of the game, and then giving like Buffalo essentially free 6 points. That was pretty much the difference in the end. Mahomes was great enough to tie it up, and it was a very back and forth the whole time. But Josh Allen was like, I put the ball in the end zone against these pricks with 13 seconds left, and they still stitched me up. I'm not fucking kicking a field goal. Who knows? The way the day was going, this prick was going to miss the fucking field goal attempt anyway,
Yeah.
right? So he's like, I fundamentally believe as a coaching staff, if you are lucky enough to coach Josh Allen and you don't have the fucking kahunas to try and get 2 yards, you deserve to lose. If you can't get 2 yards, you do not deserve to beat the back-to-back Super Bowl champs, the 9-0 team, the team that's kicked you out of the playoffs 3 years out of the last 4. If you want to win, you have to do something extravagant. You're not going to win by kicking field goals, as we saw a la Joe Barrow opening the fucking game, going 99 yards and settling for field goals. Doesn't fucking work. So Josh Allen, as much as it fucking infuriated me seeing you turn into Lamar Jackson and go into the end zone, from a betting perspective, from a fan perspective, at least like you guys have learned something from the previous years of...
Have they?
Yeah, go for it. Don't be a fucking coward.
You know they're going to go for it and not get it.
That's hilarious when that happens, because we can come back and make a reel out of this knowing that Chiefs are the situational gods, and when the situation is the AFC Championship game and it's 4th and inches, miraculously Josh Allen can't get an inch anymore. But as of today's game, fair enough, you put an L next to these pricks, and now Kansas City are low-key on Funk Watch.
Do you know who they play next?
Panthers are not a team, and neither are Raiders, right?
So what the fuck? Obviously they're going to break them.
That's actually why I feel like they're on a bit of a funk watch. Of like, they can't lose to Panthers, but I feel like they're going to be playing. They're going to play shit for the next couple of weeks, because this is a sort of game where you're like, fuck, the winning streak's over, boys. We did gun. It's not even a like, oh, okay, fuck, like boys, let's get back on the train and kill our opposition. All right, who are we playing? Is it Steelers? Is it? Oh, it's Panthers? Who gives a fuck? Spags is already at Palm Beach. He doesn't give a shit. And
you've gone into the preview, but you've gone in a different language. I truly believe
Panthers are going to die.
They're dead.
Maybe. I will say, if I could strangle one player, it would be Xavier Worthy. The amount of times this prick has called the ball out of bounds, wake up and get your fucking foot into the pitch, son.
Anyway, and they've also done some advanced thinking. They're trying to not cover for the whole year, saving it all for the playoffs.
Well, like last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, if they're gonna fucking just win every
Have
other
they
game.
not covered since like Saints? They didn't even cover that. No, they did.
Oh yeah, Saints. No, I'm telling you, once Raiders covered them, I was like, these guys are vulnerable. Because Raiders had given up by then.
Well, when will they turn it around? Anyway, speaking of team that I'd given up on, but I took him today for this guy.
We'll call it 15-0 because I took Chiefs for you.
Agreed. The Cincinnati Bengals gave up.
Through Joe Barrow.
Let's just go back. Gave up, but realized they gave up to a player that literally handed them back the ball and said, No. You Joe Barrow, you can't give up. I'll give up more. And he gave him the ball. What's interesting is that I'm going to still flame Herbert because he sucks ass and they shouldn't be 7-3. The fact they have a better record than Ravens pisses me off. Anyway.
Wow, that's crazy.
Listen, you're up 27-6. This almost became your fucking playoff game when you were up 28-0 and fucked it up to Trevor, of all players. Anyway, listen, this guy will get you nowhere. They may have won today, but as far as I'm concerned, he is not your franchise quarterback, and I would get rid of him ASAWP as soon as wallah possible. Because, to be honest, it's like as soon as shit starts going against him, he turns into literally William Levis. And fortunately, they've been able to always... You know what's interesting with Chargers? They're never behind.
Yeah, convenient.
When are they behind? They're always in front.
Yeah.
As soon as he goes in front, you'll run like Lamar. He'll throw the ball like Brady.
Yeah.
His whole team will play fucking for him. But as soon as like things start getting shaky, the ball comes out like this, like you said.
Yeah. The ball starts coming out like this.
It's incredible. So it's incredible to see that whenever Chargers have literally all their wins, they've been in front the whole time and stayed in front. When they're behind, that's when they fuck it up. And it'll happen, don't worry. When they go to Pittsburgh and this kind of ends up in a fucking stretcher, then we'll talk business. But as far as I'm concerned, they may have won today, but to let Bengals come back, who are literally letting you walk down the field, they didn't even have completions. Just walk. Just go. Don't even fucking throw the ball. You don't need to do it. Just walk into the end zone. And they still came back and almost won. Only because of fucking McPherson being unable to kick, which was basically the frame of the day. People being unable to kick.
But it's convenient. All those weeks, everyone was kicking 60 yards.
Now no one can kick them
anymore.
But other than that, on the Bengals front, as far as I'm concerned, just quit on the year. You've been a train wreck. And like I said with Jets, and I will say with Bengals, fuck Jets, fuck Bengals. As soon as they give you hope, they fuck it up. And they played gun last week. Where was that today? Where the fuck was that today? Especially in that first half. Fuck Bengals, fuck Jets.
I'm going to defend Bengals.
Why?
First of all...
They quit on the year.
No, first of all, now you can't quit on the year. I don't want to I don't want to hear about Bengals for the rest of the year.
Fair enough.
But don't you dare put them in the same conversation as Jets, of all motherfuckers.
Listen.
That is not fair.
Why?
Jets go out there and give up every week and lose.
These cunts gave up.
No. They lose to shit cunts by like massive margins.
They gave up.
They did not give up.
They were down 27-6 for no reason.
Okay, what was the full-time score?
All right, listen. I told you. Herbert said to him, here you go.
No. Well, obviously, Herbert's not a fucking cornerback. You're not going to give Joe Barrow any credit?
I would like to see... You know how you were saying before the Jets start? Let's see from the third quarter what the fucking Chargers one was. Punt. Why? I thought you were fucking gangster. You seem to, in the first half, run 40 yards without running.
No, why are you getting emotional? I'm going to get to Herbert. I'm talking about Joe Barrow and Bengals first. These pricks lost to a phantom pass interference to Chiefs. They went to Arrowhead and lost by 2. They lost to Ravens by 1 and 3 combined. They also lost some other garbage game. I'm trying to remember.
Bengals. Ravens. This is the first time.
No, I said both.
The first time.
Yeah. 1 and 3 in both of them. They don't quit. They're situationally not great.
Washington, the greatest offense.
Washington, where heaven forbid fucking Joe Barrow punts at one time and they lose, right? So defensively, they just don't have the pieces, and that's okay because a lot of their fucking capital is invested in this offense, and the offense does its job week in, week out, essentially. Out of nowhere, they fucking, I don't know, this guy turned possessed, and I don't know how he got them to 27 points against what is considered the number 1 scoring defense in the league. They didn't look like it when this guy was slinging the ball to Higgins and Chase like there was no tomorrow. And Chargers, like, there's the Clippers in the NBA, and there's, who is it in the NRL that's just like perpetually cursed no matter what they do? Tigers, you could say, since 2005. But they don't even have talent anymore, right? I'm trying to think like, talent, Roosters. Talent. Roosters have a few premierships.
Not recently.
It's okay, but I'm talking about...
Brisbane.
I'm talking about the totality of their franchise, right? Chargers, whether you had Phillip Rivers, whether you had Drew Brees, now you have Justin Herbert. I don't trust you pricks with $1. No matter who your coach is, what your personnel is, you've always had talent on the team. And at 27-6, Chris... I know you deep down were like, you know what, Bengals could still win. But your consensus fan watching Monday Night Football
would have been like this.
Would have thought to themselves, this is going to be 50-6 full time.
In our group chat, I said they're going to come back and win.
And
I was this close.
People just like not knowing what we know about the sport and just watching Lamar / Brady / Peyton Manning / fucking Mahomes back there in the Chargers jersey, flinging the ball around and rushing at 15 yards a carry, would have thought, fuck me. Bengals are going to just throw in the towel. Trey Hendrickson's legit crying on the sideline because he's like, fuck me, we can't even get a call out here. Joe Barrow went 90 yards twice just to kick field goals and then was just getting sacked every time he dropped back. And when Chargers kicked the field goal to walk off the field, I was like, what kind of fucking inbred was I sending 4 units out on Bengals head-to-head at $2? And then the second half started. And all that trying from Justin Herbert.
They got tired.
of just completely demolishing and running up. Yeah, fucking, you get a touchdown. He was throwing him like this out there, 40 yards, you get a touchdown. And then progressively, it was linear. The x-axis was Justin Herbert's performance, and the y-axis was the difference in the score. And when it was 21, it was like here, and then it went to 20 fucking... It went to 17, and then it went to 10, and then it went to 7. And by the time it was tied...
This guy was playing like an idiot.
People will call Evan McPherson now on missing his field goals, but it wasn't like this guy went and fucking got his own field goal until the third one, and then like, all right. I was like, okay, it's the Bengals defense. These pricks got to stop giving Herbert the ball on the 40-yard line. All this prick had to do was get 20 yards. He had 3 different chances. He needed all 3 of them to do it on the last time. Those laser beams that were getting thrown in the first half, all of a sudden, the ball starts coming out like this. He had people running wide open against his Bengals secondary, and he was missing them consistently. It wasn't even a pass rush next to him. So, between having the toilet bowl against Trevor Lawrence, where you actually even backed down to Trevor Lawrence down 28-0, the only close game you've played in recent memory was the Arizona one, where you led for the entire game and then backed down to Kyler.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was get them into the field goal position. You couldn't even do that. Outside of that, Browns quit to you. Bengals came out and quit to you, but you almost backed down to them. Who else? Like Denver quit to you, which, I mean, defensively, that looks like a pretty impressive win with what Denver has been playing like lately, but... No matter like what happens in this franchise, they're always just like find a way to fuck it up. And if they were playing a non-cursed team, they would have fucked it up today. Bengals like this year have been even more cursed than these guys.
Yeah.
That Herbert actually threw it straight to fucking one of the Bengals cornerbacks, and he just like it was in and out of his hands. And that Barrow to Chase bomb where Chase just like hits his fingertips and it comes out of his hands on the last drive. Normally like. They're one reception away from blowing that game and just completely being humiliated on live television. So don't buy any of this Chargers stock. 7-3 is a farce. Lock of the week, they're going to get raped by Ravens. Book that in right now. That there's no way they're going to go to 8-3. And we'll see what you pricks do in the playoffs. But I'm not buying. I will sell all my Chargers stock as of tonight.
Correct. I agree. They suck ass.
Yeah, they suck ass. Anyway, that wraps up your week 11.
Any additional takes for tomorrow?
Yes, I have an amazing best bet for all you ladies and gentlemen that stayed to this part of the podcast. Unders. Get on unders.
Cooper Rush, total rounds overs.
Will not score more than 10 points. And Dallas have some defensive pieces back, so I don't think...
Is Duran Bland playing?
He's questionable, so... So there could be a pick 6 involved. But look, I'm going to give a full-time score prediction. 21-3. Texans.
They're going to get 3?
Yeah. Stroud will fumble on his 3-yard line, and Dallas will settle for a field goal.
You know what?
You know who's going to force the fumble?
Who?
Parsons.
I forgot. I said his first name. I should have just said Bland.
Yeah.
I feel like Rush is going to do a fumble or 2. I'm going to go 28-0.
It could be a home shutout.
I don't think they'll score.
Who do you think will be favored in Thanksgiving 3 weeks from now? Dallas or Giants?
Giants.
God, Dallas will get it together. You know what, Dak? I'm sorry, bro. Like, you guys were never this bad when you were there. Fuck me, boys.
No. They're just shit. Like,
but they weren't this bad when he was there, right?
Doesn't matter.
They got fucking like he made them.
Do you want me to show you the clip of him throwing it to the Green Bay player?
What I'm saying is, he actually made these guys look like a team. Now they just look like a fucking bunch of idiots out there.
Again, I'll put the clip of him throwing it to the Green Bay player.
Ever since that moment, like...
They're fucked.
You had a blip in the radar of you killed Browns week 1 to piss me off, but outside of that, you guys have been a fucking abomination.
Yes. Anyway, we will discuss more in the preview of week 12 of the NFL. We get to the business end of the season now. Everyone's talking playoffs. Who's going to make it? Who's going to quit on the year? It's a great time.
Look, we tipped a couple quit jobs this week. We got more loading in next week. Make sure you tune into the podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Argue with us in the comment section if you feel
Jets.
If you want to defend Herbert or Rodgers or Barrow or whoever the fuck it is. We want to hear from you boys. Other than that, we will see you next week where I will be giving Seahawks as lock of the week for back-to-back weeks. Let's Oge.
Peace.